In this podcast episode, Dr. Gad Saad, a prominent evolutionary psychologist, explores the complexities of human behavior through the lens of evolutionary psychology. He discusses key topics such as the predictors of child abuse, the dangers women face in relationships, the dynamics of cheating and monogamy, and the impact of societal norms on masculinity and happiness. Saad emphasizes the importance of pursuing knowledge free from ideological constraints, advocating for an honest examination of human nature and behavior. Saad begins by discussing the concept of life purpose, suggesting that individuals should strive for truth and freedom in their pursuits. He underscores the significance of the scientific method in uncovering truths about human behavior, criticizing the notion of forbidden knowledge. This term refers to research topics that are considered off-limits due to their potential to offend specific groups. Saad argues that all research should be conducted impartially, regardless of the sensitivity of the subject matter, including group differences based on sex or race. One of the podcast's key revelations is the discussion around child abuse predictors. Contrary to popular belief that factors like alcoholism or a history of abuse are the primary predictors, Saad highlights that the presence of a stepparent is the most significant predictor, increasing the likelihood of child abuse by 100-fold. He explains this through an evolutionary lens, suggesting that biological parents are more invested in their offspring than stepparents, leading to a higher risk of abuse when a child is not biologically related to one of the parents. Saad also addresses the dangers women encounter, particularly emphasizing that the most dangerous individual a woman may encounter is her husband. He explains that this danger often stems from issues of infidelity, whether suspected or actual. This pattern is consistent across cultures and time periods, suggesting that evolutionary pressures have shaped male responses to perceived threats to their paternity. The discussion leads to an exploration of the evolutionary basis for jealousy and violence in relationships, emphasizing that while these behaviors are not justifiable, they can be understood through the lens of evolutionary psychology. The conversation shifts to the topic of cheating and whether it can ever be justified. Saad clarifies that while evolutionary explanations can illuminate why individuals may cheat, this does not equate to an endorsement of the behavior. He points out that both men and women have evolved desires for sexual variety, although men typically exhibit this desire more prominently. He explains that women are most likely to cheat when they are at their peak fertility, suggesting that this behavior is part of a strategy to secure superior genetic material for their offspring. Saad also tackles the question of whether monogamy is a natural state for humans. He argues that while monogamy is prevalent in many cultures, it is not the only mating system observed in human societies. Approximately 85% of cultures practice monogamy, while others engage in polygyny, one man with multiple women, or other arrangements. He emphasizes that both men and women have evolved to seek sexual variety, and while monogamy may be a social construct, it does not negate the underlying evolutionary drives that influence human mating behavior. Throughout the discussion, Saad highlights the complexity of human relationships and the interplay between biological instincts and social constructs. He encourages listeners to approach these topics with an open mind, recognizing that understanding human behavior through an evolutionary lens can provide valuable insights into the dynamics of relationships, parenting, and societal norms. Saad explains that caring for our families can be understood through the lens of inclusive fitness, which posits that individuals are more likely to invest in those who share their genes. This investment increases the likelihood of passing on shared genetic material. He emphasizes that kin selection drives behaviors that promote the survival and reproductive success of relatives, as helping family members can enhance one's own genetic legacy. Addressing the phenomenon of children resembling their fathers, Saad links it to paternity certainty. He argues that while maternity is always certain, paternity is not, leading men to evolve mechanisms to ensure their investment in offspring. The resemblance of children to their fathers serves as a psychological assurance for men, reinforcing their commitment to their offspring and ensuring they invest resources in raising them. Saad shares that his most controversial beliefs stem from his views on human nature and the biological underpinnings of behavior. He highlights that acknowledging the biological basis of behavior, particularly regarding sex and relationships, often triggers backlash from various ideological groups. He notes that while women may exhibit sexual variety, men generally have a greater desire for sexual variety, which can lead to contentious discussions in feminist circles. Saad emphasizes that scientific truths exist independently of ideology and critiques the tendency to distort scientific findings to fit social narratives. Saad argues that a significant portion of human behavior is influenced by sexual selection and reproductive strategies. He outlines four key Darwinian mechanisms that drive behavior: survival instincts, reproductive strategies, kin selection, and reciprocal altruism. He explains that many consumer behaviors can be traced back to these evolutionary pressures, with individuals often making choices that signal their desirability as mates. For instance, men may purchase luxury items to signal status, while women may engage in beautification practices to enhance their attractiveness. Introducing the concept of a mate desirability score, Saad explains that it is a way to evaluate individuals based on various attributes that contribute to their overall attractiveness as potential partners. Just as cars have multiple attributes that determine their desirability, humans also possess traits that influence their mate value. Key attributes for women include social status, ambition, and assertiveness, while men may prioritize physical attractiveness and youth. Saad emphasizes that individuals often engage in assortative mating, meaning they tend to pair with others of similar desirability scores. Saad discusses the factors that can predict the success of a couple's relationship, particularly focusing on the alignment of their mate desirability scores over time. He posits that if one partner's score significantly diverges from the other's, it can create stress in the relationship, potentially leading to divorce. For example, if a woman's status and desirability increase while her partner's decreases, the mismatch can strain their bond. He suggests that maintaining a similar trajectory in mate desirability is crucial for long-term relationship success. Saad outlines the attributes that contribute to desirability in men and women. For men, traits such as social status, ambition, and assertiveness are highly valued, while women often seek partners who exhibit these qualities. He notes that women generally prefer men who are taller and possess higher status, which can create challenges for men who do not meet these criteria. Saad also highlights the societal shifts affecting masculinity, noting that many men feel uncertain about how to approach women due to changing social norms and the fear of being labeled as toxic. He argues that boldness and confidence are attractive traits, and that societal pressures may discourage men from exhibiting these qualities, leading to a decline in traditional masculine behaviors. Saad highlights the complexities surrounding modern masculinity, particularly in the context of dating and social interactions. He emphasizes that many men may not fully grasp the challenges women face, especially those perceived as beautiful. He references a recent video illustrating how women often experience unwanted attention and harassment from men in public spaces. This reality can create a sense of vulnerability for women, which men may overlook when considering their approach to dating. Saad argues that understanding these dynamics is crucial for men to navigate social interactions more effectively. Elaborating on the societal pressures and daily experiences that beautiful women endure, Saad notes that they often face constant attention and sometimes aggressive advances from men. This can lead to feelings of discomfort and threat, which men often fail to recognize. The discussion underscores the importance of empathy and awareness in male-female interactions, suggesting that men should consider the emotional and psychological toll that such experiences can have on women. Self-awareness is a central theme in Saad's discussion. He argues that many social faux pas stem from a lack of self-awareness, both in men and women. He introduces the concept of theory of mind, which refers to the ability to understand and predict the thoughts and feelings of others. Saad explains that individuals lacking this skill may struggle in social situations, leading to inappropriate or unwelcome behavior. He emphasizes the need for individuals to cultivate self-awareness to improve their social interactions and avoid making others uncomfortable. Saad defines beta male as someone who lacks the traits typically associated with attractiveness in the mating market, such as social dominance, physical attractiveness, and assertiveness. He contrasts this with alpha males who exhibit these desirable traits. Saad explains that while physical appearance plays a role, qualities like kindness and intelligence are universally attractive to both genders. The perception of beta males often stems from their inability to project confidence and desirability, which can hinder their success in dating. Saad discusses strategies for both men and women to enhance their social status and attractiveness. He points out that while some traits are universally appealing, others are gender-specific. For instance, women tend to prioritize social status in men, while men often value physical beauty and youth in women. Saad advises individuals to work on traits that are within their control, such as improving communication skills, physical fitness, and emotional intelligence, to increase their desirability in the dating market. For men who are struggling to find partners, Saad offers practical advice. He suggests that physical fitness is crucial, as looks do matter, albeit differently for men and women. He encourages men to engage in self-improvement, such as reading and developing better social skills, to enhance their attractiveness. Saad emphasizes that while some factors, like height, cannot be changed, there are always ways to improve one's overall desirability through effort and self-discipline. Saad addresses the topic of pornography, discussing its potential effects on individuals and relationships. He explains that while porn can serve as a behavioral trap leading to addiction, it is not inherently evil. Saad distinguishes between healthy and unhealthy consumption, noting that moderation is key. He argues that occasional porn use may not be problematic, but excessive consumption can lead to issues such as erectile dysfunction and decreased motivation for real-life sexual encounters. Saad emphasizes the importance of recognizing when porn consumption crosses into dysfunction and encourages individuals to reflect on their habits and feelings of shame associated with it. Saad highlights the detrimental effects of porn addiction on productivity. He explains that excessive consumption of pornography can lead to a decrease in motivation and focus as it rewires the brain's reward system. This addiction can create unrealistic expectations about relationships and intimacy, ultimately leading to dissatisfaction in real-life interactions. Saad emphasizes the importance of understanding these effects to mitigate their impact on personal and professional life. Saad addresses the mismatch between our evolutionary hardwiring and contemporary societal norms, particularly in parenting. He suggests that parents should educate their children about the evolutionary basis of human behavior, helping them navigate the complexities of modern life. By understanding the evolutionary roots of their instincts and behaviors, children can make better choices and avoid common pitfalls. Saad advises that knowledge is power, and being aware of these evolutionary principles can help children lead happier, more fulfilling lives. Identifying key factors that contribute to happiness, Saad emphasizes the importance of choosing the right partner and profession. He argues that waking up next to a supportive partner and engaging in meaningful work are crucial for happiness. Saad also discusses the role of choice and mindset in achieving happiness, noting that while genetics play a role, individuals can improve their happiness through informed decisions and positive mindsets. He stresses that life is a statistical game, and while there are no guarantees, increasing the odds of happiness is possible through thoughtful choices. Exploring the idea of compatibility in relationships, Saad argues that birds of a feather flock together is more applicable than the notion that opposites attract. He explains that while differences in interests can exist, fundamental values and life principles should align for a successful long-term relationship. Saad shares personal anecdotes about his own marriage, highlighting the importance of shared values over superficial differences. He suggests that couples who are fundamentally aligned are more likely to experience lasting happiness. Saad discusses the genetic component of happiness, noting that approximately 50% of individual differences in happiness can be attributed to genetics. However, he emphasizes that the remaining 50% is influenced by choices and mindsets. This means that individuals have the power to shape their happiness through their actions and decisions, regardless of their genetic predispositions. Saad encourages listeners to focus on making positive choices that can enhance their overall well-being. Saad critiques the rise of woke culture, which he sees as a rejection of objective truths in favor of subjective narratives. He argues that this trend leads to a distortion of reality and undermines the pursuit of knowledge. Saad connects this phenomenon to the concept of biophobia, where biological explanations for human behavior are dismissed. He warns that such ideological parasitism can have harmful consequences for society, as it prioritizes feelings over facts and can stifle open discourse. Defending the principle of free speech, Saad argues that it is essential for a healthy society. He acknowledges that while some speech may be offensive or harmful, the solution is not to suppress it, but to engage with it through better ideas and discourse. Saad draws on his personal experiences as a Jewish individual who faced persecution, emphasizing the importance of allowing all voices to be heard, even those that are controversial. He distinguishes between free speech and direct incitement to violence, asserting that while individuals should be free to express their opinions, calls for violence are unacceptable. Saad advocates for a society where truth and open dialogue are prioritized over the sanitization of discourse to avoid offending anyone. Saad emphasizes the importance of honesty in research and discourse, arguing that the pursuit of truth should not be compromised by the fear of offending others. He suggests that while sensitivity is important, it should not hinder the exploration of ideas or the presentation of facts. Saad believes that the integrity of research and the communication of findings are paramount, even if they challenge prevailing narratives or societal norms. He advocates for a culture where open dialogue is encouraged and where individuals can express controversial or unpopular opinions without fear of backlash. Addressing the notion of fairness in society, Saad acknowledges that while no society is perfect, the Western model offers significant advantages compared to many others. He points out that many staunch defenders of Western values are immigrants who have experienced life in less favorable conditions. Saad argues that the perception of unfairness often stems from a misunderstanding of the complexities of societal structures. He suggests that while there are inequalities, the overall framework of Western societies provides opportunities for individuals to improve their circumstances, which should not be taken for granted. The discussion shifts to the distinction between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome. Saad asserts that while equality of opportunity is a desirable goal, equality of outcome is fundamentally flawed. He critiques the idea that disparities in outcomes are solely the result of systemic injustices, arguing instead that individual differences in talent, effort, and circumstances play a significant role. Saad uses analogies from sports, such as the World Cup and the Boston Marathon, to illustrate that not all groups will achieve the same results, and that this is a natural outcome of human diversity. He emphasizes that striving for equality of outcome can lead to absurd conclusions and ultimately undermines the principles of meritocracy. When asked about his political preferences, Saad expresses a clear inclination to support Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. He acknowledges Trump's flaws, but argues that his assertiveness and unpredictability make him a more formidable leader in a world filled with aggressive adversaries. He contrasts Trump's character with that of Harris, suggesting that the latter lacks the strength and decisiveness needed in leadership. He appreciates Trump's resilience and ability to withstand criticism, viewing these traits as essential in a political landscape that often involves bullying and manipulation. Saad's perspective is that while Trump may not embody the highest moral virtues, he is preferable to a candidate he perceives as weak. In response to a question about impactful advice, Saad reflects on a lesson from his mother regarding the harsh realities of the world. She advised him to recognize that the world does not conform to his ideals of purity and moral perfection. This insight has shaped his understanding of human nature and the complexities of social interactions. Saad acknowledges that maintaining high standards can lead to disappointment when others do not meet those expectations. He suggests that accepting the imperfections of the world can lead to greater happiness and less frustration in personal relationships. This advice resonates with his broader views on navigating societal challenges and personal conduct.